Good day everyone, I am Marian M. Uleb and I'm from Bachelor of Secondary major in English. And now, we were diving into an exciting topic that will help us to make our writing and reading much more colorful and powerful. And by this end of this lesson, you'll be master at identifying and using the three key literary devices, which is the simile, metaphor, and personification. By the end of this lesson, you'll be master at identifying and using three key of literary devices, which is the simile, metaphor, and the personification. So, our goal for today are simple but important. We're going to identify and tell the difference between simile, metaphor, and personification in different texts. We'll explain why writers use these devices, how they change the meaning and tone of the text, and lastly, we're going to write our own short paragraphs or poems using all three correctly. So now let's start. So what is figurative language? Okay, so figurative language is when we use words and phrases to imply something that goes beyond their literary definition. It's non-literal or imaginative language. Think of it as an artistic side of language. Instead of just saying a flower is tall, you might say it's stretching its neck to the sun. It's primarily used in creative writing to add depth, emotion, and artistry to the text. The simile. So simile are the most straightforward way to make a comparison. A simile makes an indirect comparison between two unlike things, almost always using the words like or as. So let's look at example from our module. A cloud like a cotton ball. So the literary meaning is the clouds look like cotton balls. But in extended meaning, by using the simile, we picture the clouds as being soft, fluffy, and white. And also, it can be gentle. So the comparison between the description much more lively. Can anyone give me a quick simile about a fast runner? That's good. He runs like the wind. The next one, we have the metaphor. The metaphor takes the comparison one step further. A metaphor makes a direct comparison between two unlike things by stating that one thing is another. It's a bit like a fun of riddle. So, let's check for our example in the module. Time is a thief. In the literal meaning, time cannot steal physical objects as it doesn't have human qualities. But in extended meaning, the metaphor suggests that time takes away our moments and opportunities, which give us a feeling of urgency or loss. Time is acting like a thief. Important too, when the metaphor is developed across multiple sentences or a whole piece of writing, it becomes an extended metaphor. Finally, we have personification. So, personification is a super creative device. Personification is when we give human qualities or action to non-human or innate object. It helps us to visualize a scene clearly and feel more connected to it. So for example, the wind whispered through the trees. The literal meaning, wind cannot literally whisper, but in extended meaning, giving the wind the human quality of whispering suggests a soft, quiet, and gentle breeze. When you see an object doing something a person can do, like a car groaning, flowers dancing, or a clock striking, that's a personification. Now that we've finished understanding the lesson, let's move to our activities to test your knowledge. So for our activity 1 titled Who I Am, the group will be divided into 2 groups. We will play the Jack and Poi. The winners are the clue givers and the losers are the guessers. The clue givers will give you a phrase from our list. Then, you give clues about it, and the guesser must say whether it's simile, metaphor, or personification. So you have 2 minutes per round. The team with the most points win. Good job, well done, class. Now let's move on to our activity 2, the show, don't tell, swap. So for the direction, each group will have a 1 card that contains 5 simple and literal statements. In each statement, you must rewrite it in 3 times using the simile, metaphor, and the personification. And after the 3 minutes of answering the activity, each member should pick 1 representative to present their activity. The representative will introduce the group using the simile, metaphor, and personification. Good job! Now, let's move on to our next activity, the art of description. In your groups, draw a Venn diagram on a whole sheet of paper. Label the 3 circles with simile, metaphor, and personification. Then analyze the 3 figurative language and fill in the sections with their similarities and differences. So, the common ground is comparison. You have 5 minutes to complete the task and get ready to present your analysis after the time is up. So, for our activity 4, question quest, I have here 3 questions. Number 1 is, a simile uses like or as to compare two different things, showing a similarity between them. How can contributes to the overall meaning and tone of the text? Question number 2. A metaphor also compares two different things, but it does so by stating that one thing is another. How can contributes to the overall meaning and tone of the text? And lastly, personification gives human qualities or actions to inanimate objects or abstract ideas. What can be generalized about the purpose of personification? Good job, class. Now let's move on to our activity 5, beyond the words, a treasure hunting. So, the direction is, each group will be given a short passage of a variety of texts, which is poems and short story. The group will hunt for the examples of simile, metaphor, and personification with this passage. They will highlight or underline each example they find. And after that, Highlighting the example in the passage, they must explain what figurative and how that figurative language can contribute to the overall meaning and tone of the text. So you have 5 minutes to finish the task, and each group will pick one representative to share their activity in front of the class. So in the module, I have here a short passage which is the poem entitled Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare, and short story The Sunflower. For our last activity, the power of words. You will be creating a short paragraph or short poem that effectively use the figurative language, the simile, metaphor, and personification. Make sure that in your activity will include at least 2 to 3 examples of each figurative language. After writing your paragraph or poem, underline and label each type of figurative language. Be prepared to share your paragraphs or poems with the class to check that the figurative language flows naturally and adds to overall meaning and tone of your writing. You will be given 10 minutes to do the task. And in the module, we will have the criteria: use of figurative language, effect on meaning and tone, underlining and labeling, presentation, and fluency. Do you have any final question, class? And if not, you were as bright as the sun today. Bye-bye.